So I'm going to give just everybody a couple seconds to get in as I go live. So I will get started soon, but basically this is on the secret to falling in love with yourself. I just did this on my Instagram and I had a lot of really valuable feedback. A lot of people really loved it, so I thought that I would bring it to my Facebook. Let me see who's here. Oh, hi! My grandma's best friend. How are you doing? Hi, love. Wow, there's a lot of people. So, the secret to falling in love with yourself. First, I'm going to start with my story. My kind of growth to how I became such a self-love, self-care advocate. What I needed to do, what happened to me, and kind of how I took myself out of it in order to start really loving myself and accepting who I was. And if anyone has experienced depression before, or maybe you're experiencing right now, I think that this could be really valuable. So please buckle up. I promise you it's not going to be an easy ride, but I will try to make as many jokes as possible so that it's valuable for everybody, okay? Oh, and I have a really itchy nose because it's allergy season in Los Angeles, so leave me alone. So the secret to falling in love with yourself. I told you I was going to tell you my heartfelt story, and then I will give you 5 tips on how you can improve your relationship with yourself. And as we know, the better our relationship with ourselves is, the better our relationship is with other people and the people that are around us. So buckle up. So my story starts in 2013. I was in a pretty abusive relationship with somebody. Very controlling. They controlled what I wore, what I ate, who I hung out with, who I didn't hang out with, my friendships, even like when I spoke to family. It was really, really bad, guys. And, this is not saying that, oh, well, you were in a controlling relationship, that must make you a weak woman. That's actually not true. When you're in a controlling relationship, people want to do that. They do it as a way to take down. A weak woman would not have been a challenge. So I'll take it as a compliment that this person saw me as a strong woman and tried to take me down. So, like I said, very abusive, very controlling relationship. It was not fun. I ended up being very, very ill and very, very depressed for about a year long. And, anyone that says that happiness is a choice, I see these things on Facebook and Instagram. That's fucking bullshit, guys. It's absolute bullshit. Because happiness is not a choice. If you are privileged to have never experienced depression in your entire life, then good for you. But by telling people that happiness is a choice, you are completely undermining the fact that depression is not something that can easily be changed by other people. Hi, Auntie Bev. Oh my God, all these people from England joining me. I feel so popular. It takes a very, very strong woman to be brought down by a controlling person. Let me tell you that, because you are a challenge. I really didn't like being depressed. I don't think anybody likes being depressed. And I'm going to invite a couple people. I don't think anybody likes being depressed. And so I was trying to do everything in my power to, change how I was feeling and just kind of get out of this slump that I was in. And what I ended up doing was, I was like, oh, well, chocolate makes me happy, so I'm going to go and eat an entire box of Oreos tonight. Endorphins make people happy, right, too. So I'm going to start running, and I'm going to run 2 to 3 miles a day, and I'm going to do 5Ks in a year, and then a 10K the next year, and I'm just going to run my face off till I'm happy again. And that's the problem, is that I thought that, one thing was going to change. Who's here? Hi. I thought that just one thing was going to help me. I went to acupuncture. To try to see if the acupuncturist, this Eastern medicine, could help me out of my depression. And it's actually bullshit. You just get poked with a whole bunch of needles and then walk away with a whole bunch of holes in you. I don't really know. Hi for everybody that's here right now. what else did I do? I went to a therapist. They diagnosed me with Stockholm syndrome, like the real Stockholm syndrome where you're like falling in love with your abuser. Yeah, that happened to me 2013. It was not fun, guys. So I was very, very deep in this depression, and I knew it was going to take a lot to get me back out. So, and thank God for my sweet soul of a mother who was buying Oreo cookies like they were going out of style or something. I'm sure the people at the grocery store thought she was crazy. Nope, they were all me, and I was eating all of them. So the secret to falling in love with yourself, you are your most important relationship. You are going to be in this relationship with yourself the rest of your life. So if you can't like you, how the fuck is anyone else supposed to like you? So number one, learn who you are and learn to love those things about yourself. Stop feeling guilty for, hi Homer, I just saw Dalton like 5 minutes ago. Stop feeling guilty for the things that make you you. So one of these things that has been kind of ridiculed in most of my relationship is that I'm very, very sensitive. I cry all the time. I do. And you know what? I don't feel bad about it. I've been called dramatic. I've been called a drama queen. I've been called a crybaby. I've been told that I make things about me. That's not true. I'm just a sensitive person. And if I allow these people to tell me that being a sensitive person is a bad thing, then I'm allowing them to take a part of me away from me, and that's not cool. So, I've realized that by being a highly sensitive person, I'm much more careful with how I speak to people, strangers, anyone. I'm much more empathetic when it comes to talking to someone with a heart like this going through a hard time. I'm a better listener. If someone's trying to have a heartfelt discussion with me, I sit there and I truly listen, and I can feel how they're feeling. And, I tell this story all the time. I'm like, yeah, when I go to Target, see someone crying, I'll cry too. But and I can laugh about that. You guys can't make fun of it, but I can laugh about that because it's like, no, because I truly do feel like I'm feeling what you're going through. Like, I'm feeling it as if it's happening to me. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how it is. And, there's actually been, Melina, hi. There's actually been a lot of different studies on how HSPs, like the benefits of being a HSP. And it's something that I've truly learned to love about myself and, not really change for another person. So I remember my mom said something, bless her heart. She said something like, well, you're going to need to get that under control. No one wants to be in a relationship with someone like that. Well, that's funny because, and she didn't mean any wrong by it, but she just meant like, it's hurt your relationships in the past, and if you really want a healthier relationship, then you need to fix it. I understand. But you know what? I found somebody that has accepted that I'm sensitive, and he's actually pretty great about it. He's not very sensitive himself, so we do work on kind of a yin and yang. And, he's told me multiple times that because I am so empathetic and so sensitive, that it's actually made him a little bit more sensitive. And you know what? I think that's pretty fucking awesome. I think, like, if I'm helping somebody else just be, like, a nicer human being, I think that's really fucking great. Excuse the language, guys. So, learn to love who you are, or learn who you are, and then learn to love those things, and stop feeling guilty about the things that make you, you. Whatever those things are. Number two, stop doing everything that no longer makes you happy. If running doesn't make you happy, stop running. If salads don't make you happy, stop eating the fucking salads. I say this all the time. Like, there are other ways that you can eat healthy. If you don't love eating a salad, don't eat the salad. Get a fruit smoothie. Get an acai bowl. Like, do a B12 shot in your butt. Like, there are other ways to be healthy, guys. But, by doing things that are not making you happy, you're not serving anybody. If you're not happy, then the people around you aren't happy. And it's just this, like, really terrible cycle. So it's got to start with you. Stop doing things that don't make you happy. That's it. And learn to say no. I had a friend invite me to a lunch a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know anybody there. It was going to be over an hour drive, and, I couldn't drink anyways, and I knew I wasn't going to have fun. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go. I'm not going. Sorry, I'm not going. She's like, oh, why can't you make it? I'm like, you know what? It just doesn't feel like something I want to do. Sorry. And I don't feel guilty about that, because the thing is if I had attended that event, or if I had gone out with that person, and I'm miserable the whole time, like, what kind of service am I doing to that person and the other people in that group if I'm doing something that doesn't even make me happy? You know, if I'm not a happy person at that dinner table, what's the point of me being there? You know, I'm not benefiting the group. So that's number 2. Number 3, secret falling in love with yourself. Who's here? I keep seeing numbers move up, but I can't even see who's here. So number 3 is forgive yourself. So this has a couple parts. Oh, hi, JJ. There are a couple parts to this. You know, we are not perfect human beings. We are flawed. We make mistakes. And, you know, we can carry that guilt with us throughout our life, but that's not really doing a service to us. That's not very, like, that's not being loving to yourself if you're carrying that guilt around. And it's not really helping other people either, because if you're feeling guilty and you're carrying that hurt around and you're not loving yourself, then, you know, how much love do you really have to give to other people, right? So, I mean, forgive yourself for those mistakes. Apologize when you need to. And this comes in a couple parts as well, but if you've made a mistake, if you've wronged somebody, if you've done something that you're not super proud of, forgive yourself for doing it, because you are a flawed human being. Really revel in those feelings, you know, feeling of guilt, like sit in it, swim in it a little bit, because the more you like truly feel that, the less likely you're going to want to feel it again. And the lesson is going to be learned a lot faster. Apologize if you need to. So this comes with like, you know, sometimes you're like in a fight with somebody, or not really in a fight, but like they're like, oh, you really hurt me when you did this, and you're like, oh, well, that's not, you know, like that's not what I meant to do, so like it no longer exists. No. Just because your intentions were not to hurt that person does not mean that they do not feel hurt, and it does not mean that you get to decide what they get to feel about it. So, you know, we don't have the power or the privilege or the know-how to police other people's feelings. If someone is feeling hurt, regardless of whether you did it intentionally, whether it's your fault at all, you know, apologize. I'm really sorry for how I made you feel. Or, I'm sorry that you're feeling sad. You're not taking responsibility, you're not taking blame, but you're just being like, you know, a nice human being, like, I'm really sorry you're hurt right now. And that's okay. So apologize if you need to, right? And stop policing other people's feelings. Number 4 on my list would be to find your tribe. Find the people that are going to be there for you through the good, the bad, the ugly, and the disgusting. Truly, I mean, I think this is the hardest part, because especially people that are like me, like really social and bubbly and friendly, is you never really know who's a good friend or who's a fun friend until something really bad happens, right? Like that sucks. The thing is, you know, whatever that bad thing that did happen, you know, be thankful for it in the sense that it showed you who was a good friend and who was a fun friend. Because the good friends, they're going to stick around. They're going to be calling you every day, asking you how you're feeling, how you're dealing with everything. And the fun friends are just going to stop inviting you to go out. And you know what? They're better off without you, right? You don't really want those people in your life anyways. So anyone that is no longer making you happy, they're not adding positivity into your life, they're not absolutely in love with who you are, just get rid of them. Like, we're over it. You don't need that many friends. As long as you've got like a really solid tribe, a really solid like close-knit group of friends, you don't need a lot of people, I promise you. And then the 5th one also comes in a couple parts. We teach people how to treat us by what we choose to allow. Like what we choose to allow from them. So, I mean, I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but the best way I know how to describe it is that if a friend or a colleague is doing something that you really don't appreciate, and it's not very, they're just not being very kind to you, don't feel bad about saying, hey, I really didn't like how you were speaking to me. Can you please not speak to me like that anymore? I used to have a boss when I was in AT&T corporate America that didn't know how to communicate with me unless they were yelling at me. And I was going through this like eat, pray, love thing myself, so I really didn't know how to address it. But finally, I like started hanging up on them and started walking out of the room, because I'm like, dude, you know, if you can't find a way to respectfully speak to me, regardless of what the subject is, I don't care if you are mad at me because I set your house on fire, you need to respectfully address me about it. If you can't do that, then I don't want to speak to you, and that's it. And that's hard, right? I think that this also, I think that this also applies to relationships. I was dating this guy a couple of years ago, and I think we were like 2 months into our relationship, and I had just come out like fresh off 3 years of being single and dating around. And oh, Sarah's here. Hi. Oh, and Robert Marquez. How are you doing? I was single for 3 years. I started dating this guy. We were dating maybe like, I don't know, 2 months in, and I say something at dinner that he really didn't appreciate, and he started raising his voice at me, and I was like, this guy is not talking to me like this. And I didn't get upset, but what I did do was I allowed him to finish his sentence, and then, oh, my mom's here. Hi. And I allowed him to finish his sentence. Sorry, you guys are so distracting. Stop messaging. And then I got up and I walked away, and I told him, I was like, look, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes. And when I get back, we're going to talk about how you feel like mature adults, or how I made you feel like mature adults. And you were never allowed to speak to me like that again. And, I think that that's what comes, we teach people how to treat us by what we choose to allow. Imagine if I didn't speak up in that moment. Imagine if I didn't say, hey, this is not okay that you talk to me like this, on the 7th or 8th day. What happens if and I really did like him, I was like, wow, this guy could be really awesome. I think I'm going to keep hanging out with him. And we were having great conversation. He's really funny, super cute, got nice friends. But what happens if I didn't put my foot down? Now I'm in this relationship with somebody who continues to speak to me like this, and I choose to continue to allow it, and now I'm in this rut of like, it almost becomes a habit. What happens 2 years later, he's still talking to me like this, and now I can't even have the conversation because this is just how he talks to me now? Like, no, gotta nip that shit in the bud. We teach people how to treat us by what we choose to allow. And the second part of that tip comes with, we've got to be willing to walk away. We've got to be willing to walk away from the people that no longer make us happy and are no longer positive influences in our life. And I think that's really hard too. I think that takes a really strong person to be able to walk away from somebody that no longer serves you. And the thing is a lot of people can argue that that's really selfish. Personally, I don't think that it is. And the reason behind that is because, look, if I can't love myself, then how much love am I going to have for anybody else? And if I allow people to disrespect me or to treat me badly, how loving is that for me, right? Like, how does that prove to me, like, what I'm allowing, how does that prove that I love myself? Does that make sense? I'm not wording that right, but I think you guys understand. It's just, what you're accepting is, equally proponent to how you're treating yourself, okay? So that's what I meant. For the people that are just joining right now, I'm talking about the secret to falling in love with yourself. I spoke to you guys about my story, and I also gave you 5 tips on how you can start loving yourself more today. So I will run through them really quickly one more time for the new viewers. So my story started back in 2013. I was in a very controlling relationship and came out of it very, very depressed. I ended up seeing a therapist. They diagnosed me with Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, like the real stuff. Very, very scary. And I had to learn, from that pit hole of depression, I had to learn who I was and learn learn to fall in love with who I was. And really, start on this journey of loving myself and accepting myself and just doing things just for me, because the thing is, guys, is that you are in a relationship with you for the rest of your life. This will be the longest relationship you are ever in, and if you can't love you, how the hell is anyone else supposed to love you? And if you can't love you, then how do you show somebody else to love you? You know what I mean? So it's like the way that you, that phrase, it's like the way that you speak about yourself is how you teach people like how to speak to you. I don't know, something like that, whatever. So I'm going to go through them really quickly just because we do have a lot of new viewers on. So anyways, that's my story. That's the reason why I am a big proponent of self-love and self-care. So number 1, learn who you are and learn to love those things about yourself. Stop feeling guilty for the things that make you you. Like I said, I'm a very highly sensitive person. I cry all the time. And for years, I've been told that I'm very dramatic and I make every situation about me and I'm a drama queen and I'm a crybaby and I don't know how to handle my emotions. And how the hell are you going to become a leader in corporate America if you're crying all the time, Anna? These are things that have been constantly fed to me. Oh my God, I'm talking a lot. And, once I did a little bit of soul searching, I realized that I'm what you consider a highly sensitive person. It's actually something that is in my genetic DNA. So you can pull my genetic strip out and see one little dot that says highly sensitive person on it. And it's passed through generations. So there's multiple HSPs in my family, which is cool. So now that I've learned that it's something that I truly can't get rid of, I need to learn how to accept it, right? So I started doing a little bit of research about HSPs and the value of being one. And basically through different podcasts and Pinterest and just my own research, I've learned that, being a highly sensitive person makes me a better listener. It makes me more empathetic. It makes me much more intuitive. Because I am taking in all the different stimulations around me, not just what someone's saying, but their voice inflections and their facial expressions and their body language and what they're wearing and why they chose to wear it and the shoes that they're wearing and why are their socks mismatched. I literally see everything, which is why I get overstimulated all the time and you'll see me cry over nothing. So I've learned to accept that about myself and I'm actually really happy with it. Especially now I'm in a relationship with someone who celebrates that I'm sensitive and celebrates that I'm empathetic. And he's even said, he's got a little bit more of a tougher exterior than me, but he's even said that dating you has made me a nicer, more loving human being because, you're teaching me how to be empathetic. You're softening my heart. And I think that's so freaking beautiful that he told me this and I started crying. It was over a year ago, but if I can be someone of a soft heart and just through my actions and words, something that I'm going to be doing anyways, if I can teach somebody or teaching through my actions, how to be more loving and how to be nicer and a better listener, why would I want to get rid of that about myself? That's silly. So, if I can do it, you can do it. Find the things that you absolutely adore about yourself and stop letting other people, try to change your mind about it. I have a friend and sorry guys, phone fell off. I have a friend and she identifies with being very impulsive and she's like, I really can't date anybody until I fix this about me. And I'm like, girl, I'm not an impulsive person, but I can see the value in being friends with someone that's impulsive. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, because, on nights where I really can't think of anything fun to do, I can go to you and you're going to be really spontaneous and you're going to find something fun to do because you're an impulsive person. You're going to be the girl that says let's go to Vegas and it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, okay, let's go, So, these things, these words, and I feel impulsive has such a negative tone to it and sensitive has such a negative tone to it. Find those things that make you and just learn to love them and stop feeling guilty for them. So number 2 is to stop doing everything that no longer makes you happy. And I mean literally everything. Learn to say no. If you don't like eating salads, stop eating salads. I promise you're going to be a happier person and the people around you will be a lot happier if you stop eating salads too. There are other healthy meals that you can eat you can eat in replace of a salad. In place of a salad. You don't need to eat the salad. If you absolutely hate running, there are other ways you can get cardio. You can ride a bike on the beach walk. You could have sex or whatever. There's a lot of yoga, right? There's so many things that you could do instead of running. So if you hate running, stop doing it because if you're not doing something that you love, you're not going to be happy. And if you're not happy, then you're not loving yourself. And if you're not loving yourself, you're not loving other people. So this is really about them, right? So learn to say no. I had a friend invite me to a lunch a couple weeks ago, and I knew that I wouldn't know anybody there. And it was an hour and a half drive for me or something. And it was, on the day after a really crazy day of work. So I was going to be tired anyways. and I knew I couldn't eat anything there because I'm dairy free and it was like a different kind of restaurant. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm not going to be happy when I'm there. The drive's going to be crazy. I don't know anybody. And if I'm not happy when I'm there, then what kind of service am I doing to all the other people in that lunch? Like, that sucks. And I'm just like the really mean person. So stop doing things that no longer make you happy. And I mean literally everything. Stop doing it. Number 3, forgive yourself. We're all human. We all make mistakes. If you've done something that you feel pretty guilty about, you need to forgive yourself for it. Apologize if you need to. Again, we don't have the privilege or the power to police other people's feelings. So when someone says that you hurt them, apologize. If you don't feel like you did anything wrong, you could just say, I'm really sorry you're feeling hurt. You're not taking responsibility, you're not taking blame, but you're showing them that you understand that their emotions are valid, right? Number 4, find your tribe. Drop the fun friends, keep the good friends. The people that are there for the good, the bad, the ugly, and the disgusting. If you can't truly be yourself around your people, they're not your people. And then number 5, put your foot down. We teach people how to treat us by what we choose to allow from them. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but if it doesn't make you happy, ask them to stop. And if they don't stop, walk away. So that's it. The secrets. The secret to falling in love with yourself. You guys heard my horrible story. If I can come out of that and still be this bubbly, happy person at the end of it, you guys can too. You can literally go through hell and come out a better person if you do the hard work that is required of it, okay? So thank you everybody that joined. I saw a ton of people come in and kind of pop out and in and out, but this video will be on my profile for probably ever, so take a look at it. Not take a look at it. You can refer back to it if you need to. Also, private message me. See, I want to know how your self-love is going. I want to know how your self-care journey is going and how this accepting yourself is working. And so get in touch, okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me, and I appreciate it. Bye.